at the Plant Nurse is a plethora of information to learn from cannabis and mushroom information to her services as the lowest price cannabis certification provider, or get just as a nurse practitioner. I just were certified for myself for $45. Please give her a follow and be sure to schedule a consultation for all your cannabis health needs. And that's all for this week's Maryland Cannabis Report. I'm Christopher Bright from the Enlightened Voice reporting for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
There's still an impending deadline for July 1st for another tax hike on the California cannabis industry. In 2022, Governor Gavin Newsom used his executive powers to implement an emergency increase when the industry did not reach projected revenue and tax goals. But now at 15%, it's supposed to go up to 19% by that July 1st date. This week, the California Assembly, a group of 80 elected officials in the lower house of the legislative branch of that state, has voted unanimously to stop that tax increase. The state eliminated the cultivation tax in 2022, so that impacted the tax totals collected, and now the governor wants to make it up by increasing total taxes on the industry. Needless to say, this did not go over well in his state, and now his own legislature is resisting his solution to this tax discrepancy. Of course, it hasn't helped that first quarter legal sales have decreased in California to their lowest point since 2020. With more from California, here's Dina Naguib.
I'm Dina Naguib, Principal Consultant at Grass Goddess Consulting, here to give you the latest developments in California for Cannabis Coast to Coast News. First off, AB 564 swept the Assembly floor with a vote of 74-0. The bill will block the excise tax increase from 15% to 19%, which has been set to happen on July 1st. But is it a little too late? At this point, the bill won't take effect until the start of next year, and the excise tax will still increase in July. There is a way to incorporate it into the budget trailer bill so that the increase doesn't happen, and it's important that Californians stay vigilant and let Sacramento know that this is critical for our industry. But let's also not forget to celebrate good news, because a landslide vote means that our voices are being heard. Stay tuned. In other news, legal cannabis sales in California experienced an 11% decline during the first quarter of this year, which is the largest decline in the history of legal sales in this state. This is in a large part due to overtaxation, which has caused the majority of sales to occur outside of the legal market, according to the Department of Cannabis Control. Hopefully, with AB 564 in place, the industry can figure out how to take back the majority of sales and become what we all hope legalization would look like. That's it for California News. I'm Dina Naguib with Grass Goddess Consulting for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
That'll do it for the A block, or first section of our weekly Cannabis Coast to Coast news show. Coming up next, our international news segment with new countries moving towards reform. And later on PCM TV, founder Jimmy Young spent a few days in Western Massachusetts at the 3rd annual Flower Expo, one of the most popular pro-cannabis business trade shows and networking events every year in the Northeast, and now expanding into the Midwest. Cannabis Coast to Coast news continues after this.
Counting Buds has grown into Buds Group, the same award-winning quality, now with more service offerings. Buds Group, your best buds in the biz.
Looking for PR that over-delivers on expectations? At Maverick Public Relations, they pair big agency experience with personalized attention. From launching award-winning brands to securing top-tier media hits, their data-driven communications team helps visionary leaders and entrepreneurs rise above the media noise. Maverick PR is responsive, collaborative, and relentless about results and ROI. Visit themaverickpr.com and make headlines together.
That's out the Pro Cannabis Media. Bill. Shouts out to the big homie. Y'all know he made me a beat.
Remember me when you're far away. I always have a place for you to stay. In the garden.